Yeah. Welcome back.
Welcome back. All right, fair enough. But yeah, I was just asking you, what were some of the challenges that you faced when you started freelancing, like in the very beginning part of it?
Uh, so I started freelancing because I didn't have money to get the things which I always wanted.
Hmm.
I got money, but it was not sufficient for my
Yeah.
desires. So I started. So first time it was accidental. I wrote my first book and I posted the video of that book in my YouTube channel, and through that I got my first client who wanted me to edit his book.
Hmm.
Uh, so that was the starting, and that's how then I started getting more and more clients. So one of my some of my bad experiences that I had was one is my sleep cycle was a mess.
Hmm.
For me, money was everything when I started.
It
So
always. That's why you
I was
start.
24/7 seeing my mail, seeing my messages.
Yeah. And when this, I think the initial paychecks, when they start to come, you're like, oh, this is great. I can work like this. And you feel like you can work every night and it doesn't bother you. Initially, it feels like, oh, my body is fine. I will sleep in the day. I will manage everything. I think it's after the 2 or 3 months that you start to feel that, okay, maybe I need sleep.
Yeah,
Maybe sleeping is important.
yeah, exactly. Maybe I don't need money that much.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think
I can't eat money, right?
yeah, it's like you start realizing how important. I think, like now, when I say this to people that money is not everything, money is very important. I am a very materialistic person. I have a
Same
lot
here.
of materialistic desires. I want like a big car, I want a big house, I want all the materialistic things. But I have also realized that you can't do anything with a big house, big car if your health is not good. You
Exactly.
need to balance it out and you need to earn on a slow pace where your body is not getting hurt and you're able to actually enjoy what you're earning, you know. So that's there. Um, but yeah, I think people don't understand it sometimes, and they do push themselves too hard. I've seen people doing that, but then they end up in a mental health clinic with stress and so many other problems. Um, so yeah, being somebody from psychology, I see it happening like every day. So that also gives me reminders that I need to take breaks and I need to like break the stress cycle. So that's there. I think freelancing comes with its own challenges. Freelancing is great for especially for people who like to work on their own accord. Like I personally prefer that. I honestly like working on my own accord when I don't have any boss, I don't have any juniors. At max, I have like a colleague who is doing a separate part of the project. So we are like, co-working on it. At max that. And I love working in that environment. But yeah, in freelancing, there are no boundaries and nobody takes the work seriously. That's another problem, especially when you're co-working. I don't know if you've had co-working projects, but if you're working with two
I
other
had
people or
coworkers.
one other person,
Yeah.
your deadlines will never be
I had pressure. I had pressure. They didn't have pressure, so they were taking me lightly.
exactly. It's always like that. Like your deadlines are never their deadlines.
Exactly.
They don't take you seriously. You're like, please give me this by 15th of December. I need to take this further and edit further and then give it to the person. And then like, हाँ हो जाएगा. I'm like, हो जाएगा when and how? You have to work on it for it to happen. But I think freelancers are the most lazy person, but
I
they're
can-
also very efficient. It's like the opposite ends of the continuum. Like they're very lazy, but they're very efficient. I don't know how, but somehow they complete in deadline. Okay. Like I have had colleagues, especially on this like the projects that I've taken up from US, they were the ones which actually required me to co-work because they take their boundaries and work very seriously. So you have to get another person usually to get like a good result. And I used to call my coworker on, like, let's say 15th is the deadline, and call them on 14 and be like, are you done with the work? They'll be like, no, this much is left. I used to get worried. I used to be like, tomorrow's the deadline. Please do it. Please don't delay it. This person. And somehow by the next day, they will finish the work. I was like, how did you finish 1 week length of work in 1 day? What medicine do you eat to do that? What kind of high are you getting that you were able to do this in 1 day? And then, like, how ho jata hai? And I'm like, well, great, you submitted the work. That's all that's needed. So yeah, that's that. Which is another thing about freelancing. The process never matters. Okay, it matters that you submitted it on time. Your client's happy.
Exactly.
They don't ask the process. There's, like, when you're working in an office, there is a methodology. It goes through a chain of people. Freelancing is like you are the chain of people. If you say yes, it's yes. If you say no, it's no. There's no command. So that's another thing that I used to enjoy, like, about freelancing. But, like, for you, what were the fun parts about freelancing?
For me, the fun part was sometimes the tip. In
Yeah.
India, there is no concept of tip. In US, there is concept
Oh,
of tip,
yes.
and I was shocked when I got big,
Yeah.
huge tip.
Yeah. You get huge tips, yeah. It's amazing. I remember this one time, like, I got a tip. So, in obviously the USD gets converted in INR when you get the money. And I think that person must have tipped me, like, it was a very small project, barely 3 to 4 days of project. But that person ended up tipping me, I think must have tipped me around $100 at that time,
I
because,
had a
like,
similar experience. It
yeah,
was a $5 project. I got two
yeah,
$50 tip.
yeah, and I was like $100, and I was like $6,000. For me, it's 6, 7,000 bucks. So that's like a lot of money for.
Seriously, it's India.
And I was in college. I was
Same.
still in college. I was like, oh, amazing this is. I didn't sleep for 3 days, but it paid well. I was like, it used to be so fun in the initial phase, man. And that gives you financial freedom. Again, coming back to that point, I think that is when you start to feel that, okay, maybe earning money is a good idea. So, because now you have money to spend on whatever you want. I think that initial phase is very nice when you go out with your friends and you don't have to worry about spending because you have enough in your pocket. And it feels nice, it feels great. You're like, oh, I can spend money without worrying for once, without worrying that, okay, my dad will scold if I spend more. So that's that. Because in college, you usually have, like, very tiny pocket monies, okay? So just like you're a very wise spender at that time. So I too was a miser in college. I think first year of college I was a bad miser. I only learned spending money once I started, like, earning mine, because I was like, okay, now I can spend it. Now it's like it's my money, nobody will ask questions. So yeah, that's also there. But makes sense. But have you faced, like, a very difficult client ever? As much freelancing is great, but sometimes the clients can be very tough. So have you
Yeah,
faced any such of the
like
client?
I faced some clients who were disturbing me during my sleep as well.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is why I said US.
Then there were clients where we agreed initially we agreed to do this much task. In the end, everything was done. Then when I was not on my laptop, I was outside. I was in my trip or something.
Huh.
They came and they are like one small correction.
Oh,
Like
did you take money
revision.
for corrections, or were you kind enough to not take money for corrections?
No, no. They said it's strictly free.
Oh, they wanted it free. Hey,
Yeah.
that's okay. I think I think when I used to work on longer, like, projects, especially the writing projects, I took up less of editing, more of writing, where I was the first writer of the content. So if I used to take content writing, I used to always make sure that I'm not, like, uh, doing the work for free, especially the editing, later editing part, because a lot of times they don't like your content. Like, initially they'll be like, oh, it's amazing, but then they don't like it. And then they're like, I need you to fix these parts. I used to allow them 2 or 3 corrections for free, and I used to discuss it in the beginning that the first corrections would be free, but if you come after the third correction to fourth correction, I am going to charge extra from that point on. Because I think three corrections are sufficient on any type of work. If you still require more, please pay me more because it gets very frustrating after that. So, but this also, as you said, I also learned from experience. There was a client who I think almost made me correct the content 6 or 7 times. By the seventh time, the content had entirely changed. I felt like I wrote new content for him. I was like, this man is smart because he has older content and he has made me write another like new set of content. And
At
you
the
know,
same price.
yeah, and you know how like SEOs and everything works, right? So you can publish like from one article, 100 different articles. And he did that. And I was like, okay, I have been fooled. Nice. From that, I learned and I was like, I'm never doing that again. So yeah, I think you learn a lot that way from experience. Especially content writing is a tricky field. People make you like they make you cry. You're like, please just please be happy this time. I'm tired of convincing you that this is good content. It's so bad. Yeah. Content writing is a bad field. As much I love writing, okay, I love English, I love literature, especially when it comes to fictional content. I used to write a lot of fictional content. But man, they make you cry tears, dude. Especially these people who work like I don't know if you had experience, but I had experience working with these people who write kid stories, like organizing content for the younger age.
I edited such content. I didn't write.
It's annoying, isn't it? Like I
Yeah.
found it because they pay well because it requires a lot of stuff to be done. The content needs to be very precise and everything, so they pay you good. But it is so annoying to understand what they actually want from you. Like, because I don't know what they want, man. I
And
still
I
don't.
also noticed the people who pay you more money, they will
Hmm.
have some clarity. But people who pay you comparatively less money, they will experiment with you. They
They do. Man, this experimenting thing hits home. You're right. People who are like ready. You know, there are people, like, there are clients who just come up to you, and if they are so good with the negotiation part, like, if you say, okay, I will take 6,000 bucks per 100 words, and they're like, huh, fine enough, I want you to write 1,500 words worth of article, and it needs to be published in 5 different places like this. They give you the format and they're like, this is how we want it, and you give them, they pay you without any like, okay,
questions,
delay in
everything.
payment or anything. They're so precise with it. And if they come with a sixth article and they want some corrections, they themselves tell you that, okay, they themselves ask, what are your extra charges above this? And there was this time when somebody asked me, okay, what are you going to be extra charges? And I was a dumb person initially, and I didn't have any extra charges. So I was like, I'll get back to you. And I cut the call. I had asked somebody else in the field who was experienced enough what are extra charges. And then I made up my extra charges and then called that person and told him. And he was nice enough to pay me. But then there are people who negotiate with you. Toba, my God, those people, they have some skills. I'm like, Bhaiya, you need to be a sales manager because you're so convincing. You made me doubt my skills. There are people like that, yeah. They're like, you're not experienced enough and everything. And you're like, huh,
They will reduce you from $100 to $6 or $7, something like
yeah.
that.
And they are good with the convincing thing. At the end, even you will be like, he's right. I'm not good.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then later you wonder, what have I done to myself? Why did I reduce my charges? It happens. Freelancing is a tricky place here. Because there is a huge ground for negotiation when it comes to freelancing, especially if you're not like a full-fledged settled freelancer. Like I know certain freelancers who have their own websites and everything. So they have mentioned a lot of their stuff on their website. So it becomes like a concrete proof that this is non-negotiable. I
Yeah,
don't
for
have
sure, Anna.
that. So it becomes problematic. But have you tried that? Have you tried like settling up certain boundaries for yourself when it comes to freelance?
I took some guidance from Shreya Patter, Komal Ahuja, all those
Mhm.
You might be knowing them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I also spoke one to one with them to learn some things. I also
Uh,
do podcasting, all those things. So after that, I tried some strategies and some things worked for me, and that's how I learned. But initially, even I experienced it hard way.
yeah. I think a lot of freelancing tricks you learn through your initial experience. Like your first year or the first 6, 7 months into freelancing is just you experimenting that what kind of like money model or what kind of business model works for you and like what
Exactly.
you need to adapt. So those first 6 months are just you figuring out, especially if you're like a young freelancer. So that initial money independence is just such a it's like a high and you're so happy with it that you easily negotiate, okay? And you're like, ah, it's fine, I'll take less money also, which is a bad idea. I recommend people don't reduce your prices because there are people who are ready to pay your price. You just have to be good enough at what you're doing. So that's always there. So yeah, I think it's a problematic thing to learn freelancing, but it's liberating. I honestly feel that's a little liberating when you can earn at the comfort of your own pace. So
I've
that's
been a freelancer for I think 1.5 years, and
hmm,
right now I am living my corporate life. I have left
yeah,
freelancing entirely.
it
So
happens.
yeah, I'm just comparing and I'm enjoying both worlds.
Yeah. Sometimes it's sad. Sometimes you miss it because right now I'm also not doing any sort of freelancing considering my college. Like I've started my masters and it requires my entire like everything, my mental, physical, all sorts of health. So it's hard for me to continue freelancing. It's not been easy. So I have stopped, like paused it for let's see how long. So it feels sad sometimes because you're like, it was nice being my own boss. But I think corporate, college, these sort of things, they give you the routine back. So I have started enjoying the routine. I at least go to sleep at 12, which is a decent time. As a freelancer, man, there were times I didn't sleep the entire night, the entire day. And the next day I used to sleep. And my mother was like, one of these days you'll die, you dumbass. You will die if you keep working like this. This is not how you're supposed to run after money. And I has to be like, no, I need to get paid.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm like, you're not getting it, I need money. They're like, no, not like this.
I will pay you money. Sleep on time.
Exactly. Man, it used to be so, oh God, it used to be so problematic. As college students, money is like a huge motivation. It's like, and I get it because it's nice to have it in like your hand. So that's also there. But how are you comparing the corporate life and this? How is it working for you now?
Uh, I didn't. No, I am feeling corporate life a bit better. To be very honest.